Throw a slack, you fucking moron!
Hi, welcome to... Blew that out.
I blew that out.
Hi, and welcome to Screen Share. My name's Calder and Wood.
And I'm Adam Cook.
And this is a movie podcast about seeing your sugar daddy at Shiva.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah?
I'm feeling okay.
Yeah, you are?
I'm actually not at all. I've got like a really sore back. I should probably sit better than I am right now.
Yeah.
I did about 4.5, 5 hours of snow shoveling yesterday and threw my back out like an idiot.
That's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Did you do that on purpose?
Throw my back out or shovel the driveway?
Either.
I didn't throw my back out on purpose, I'll tell you that much.
This week's movie is Shiva Baby.
Yeah.
So, how to get into this?
How do we approach a movie like this?
I guess we'll start off with this. What did you think, Adam? Because this is the month of my picks, and you're not.
Oh yeah,
probably gonna like all the picks that I choose.
We should remind everybody the month of March is Calder's birthday month. I believe in our spreadsheet it says Daddy's month, so this is Daddy's month.
I'm the alpha in the group.
Probably.
Yeah, I do a lot more wolf howling sort of things.
Give us a tester.
Oh, you know, like that sort of thing.
Ugh, that was rough.
And I also watched this movie before. So, Shiva Baby is the movie for this week.
Yeah.
Next 4 weeks, because I get 5 weeks, baby.
Yeah, goodness.
Next 4 weeks are also my picks, and I picked like a wide range of genres.
You did. You did a good job of picking different movies.
So this movie came out in 2020, and you'd heard about this movie before this episode. You hadn't?
No.
Okay.
I had not heard of this movie until you put it on the list.
Did you know anything about it
Going
at all?
in, I didn't know anything about it.
Okay. So what did you think?
I thought it was good. That doesn't mean I liked it.
Yeah. Okay.
Like it's a hard movie to like enjoy, but like I don't think that's really what it's for either. Like there's some enjoyable moments, but for the most part, it's kind of like Whiplash.
Yeah.
Where like Whiplash is a movie that's like high stress, like high
like anxious.
Yeah, it's just like a very anxiety.
It kind of could be construed as like. I think that's a good parallel.
Yeah, but like Whiplash, though, it also feels like there's something that the main character is working towards. In this movie, it just feels like it's just she's lost.
Well, let me give you the parallel because both of those movies are in a way horror movies.
Yeah,
this movie and Whiplash. Whiplash is a lot more like. Because there's a villain in Whiplash. And that's a little more like there's a slasher or like there's a serial killer kind of thing.
But he's just a scary conductor.
Yeah, but he's just like sadistic
yeah.
and yells and like torments. That's his way of punishment instead of like slicing off people's heads who have sex. Yeah. Which we'll talk about later in the month.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Next week, actually. And this is more of like a... There's something wrong with the house kind of horror movie analog where it's like there's no real villain. It's like a little more like Paranormal Activity where it's like there's a bunch of beings swarming around in the house and the forces that they exert on our main character kind of are her struggles, are the things that she has to get over and get through. And whether it's like malicious or not, like it's more of a malevolent force. Because no one, I don't think, in the entire movie, except for maybe Maya, who we'll get into, is like intentionally mean. And I guess, I forget what, Sam, is that his name? The sugar daddy?
Oh. I wrote his name down. Max.
Max.
Yeah.
Max and Maya are the only ones that are like, I guess, intentionally mean to her.
Yeah.
The wife is also a little like iffy on that, but like she's not.
Her mom?
No, her Max's wife.
Oh, yeah.
But she's not like sadistic, really, until
No,
the
I
end.
think she just like slowly starts to figure out what happened and kind of is passive aggressive about like confirming it. But like on the kind of horror movie front, it does feel like, whereas in a horror movie, you're like, spoiler alert, we're gonna do Scream later this month. I won't say too much about Scream in this, but like similar to how in Scream a lot of it is there's a killer in the house. You like, be careful where you're going, like keep your wits about you. In this movie, it's like there's a lot of people you don't want to talk to in this house. Be careful. And it's a very similar feeling. It's almost like more scary because it's more relatable.
Yeah. We should give a brief plot synopsis. So
Sure.
our main character, who's, how am I forgetting her name?
Danielle,
because they call her Danny. Our main character Danielle is a sugar baby. I guess that's what she's a sugar baby.
I just understood the title. Because when the baby of the
you're like,
couple
oh, that's
showed up,
the
I was
Shiva
like,
baby?
is this baby gonna come into play in a big way or something? Like, is it? I guess
She's a sugar baby. Her sugar daddy is like this guy named Max. And that day she goes to a Shiva for like a sort of family friend, a relative kind of thing.
And what is a Shiva, for those who don't know?
It's like a post-funeral gathering in the Jewish religion.
Yeah. And it's like pretty, from what I gather, it's pretty important.
Yeah, and there's like things, there's like, I feel like ceremonies is a bit strong word, but like, I guess there's a ceremony.
I guess just
there's things that
traditions.
they do. There's
just
traditions.
things,
What the fuck was? Oh, and at the Shiva, she sees her sugar daddy, who she didn't know is like sort of related in this community, but like he worked for her dad.
Yeah.
And he also brings his wife to the Shiva. But like the real underlying tension to me is like, that sucks. But even if he didn't show up, this would still be a hellish event for her.
Oh, yeah.
Because she's got to deal with all these like aunts and uncles and family friends who are like commenting and asking her like questions about like, what are you gonna do? Oh, you've gotten really skinny. Oh, do you eat? Like,
Yeah, I watched this one with Olivia, and it was kind of interesting having like I related a lot to like
the questions
Danielle,
about university stuff.
Yeah, being questioned like, so what are you doing right now? And her being like, I've got interviews lined up, when she doesn't.
Yeah.
It's like, I know what that's like, kind of. Like having to explain to people that you will never talk to again, like what your
or
future
even that you talk to like
are.
once a year.
Yeah.
And it's like you're like, I guess I'm just gonna give you the base level, but like I don't want to talk about this with you.
Yeah, and it's like you either don't care about what you're asking me, or you care at the absolute minimum level. But like now I'm all of a sudden obligated to give you all this information I don't really care to disclose.
Yeah.
So I related to that, and then Olivia related to like, because a lot of this is like the woman's experience.
Yeah.
Where it's like a lot of the like conversations and like hurdles that she faces at the Shiva are like because of just like the expectations of her as a woman.
And then also within her like cultural group too, like where she's sort of expected to be doing something where she's gonna be successful. Like her ex Maya is like going to law school, and that's like, you know, that's like a cool thing. That's a good thing. Where she's like doing a media studies feminism degree.
Yeah.
But that's like, well, you got to get a real job. Like you got to do something real.
There's even a point where someone's like, "Oh, so like, what is that?" And she just like shakes her
like,
head.
"It's
She
a
goes,
lens."
Media.
Yeah. Okay. We should talk about the director,
Okay.
Emma Seligman, who is a very exciting director.
There was a point where Olivia goes, "You can tell this was written by a woman."
There was a Canadian woman.
Well, yeah. So then we checked, and it was like, "Oh yeah, well, of course."
So she's 20, or they. Sorry, I should say they. I'm stumbling. Emma uses she, they pronouns, so I don't want to
Okay.
mess up. But they were born in Toronto, grew up here, went to NYU and made a short film called Shiva Baby with Rachel Sonnet, who stars in this movie. And it's basically like the first thing at the apartment. And then it kind of goes, there's like chunks of the movie until the midpoint. And it kind of ends when they're reading the part of like the Torah or whatever, when they're doing like the prayer thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's pretty good, but it's very student filmy.
Oh yeah. Well, it all takes place in the same house, and it is like just over an hour.
Yeah.
Like it's very short, which I kind of like.
But the short is like, you're kind of like, there's something there. This is an interesting idea, but they haven't like got the visual language that was used in the feature kind of figured out in the short. Like there's a lot of things visually that in the movie are like taken up 3 or 4 notches.
Okay.
But like obviously you're like Rachel Sonnet is incredible.
Yeah.
She's incredible in this movie. Pretty much the whole cast is
The
incredible.
whole cast is very good.
And Emma Seligman is like, she's got something.
Yeah.
So then they made this movie for $200,000.
Nice.
Kind of deferred pay for a lot of the bigger stars like Polly Draper, Molly Gordon, and like Frank Melman.
Diana Agron.
I mean, it's kind of impressive that Diana Agron's in the movie.
Dude, genuinely, when she walked in, I looked to Olivia and I was like, Quinn Fabray? Is that Diana Agron? And Olivia was like, yeah, you didn't know she was in this? And I got really excited because when watching Glee, I really liked, I mean, like, her character grew on me over time, but like, generally I just liked her as an actress. She was very good and impressive compared to like a lot of the other cast.
Yeah.
But like, then I looked at her IMDb and I'm like, she's in nothing.
Yeah, she's like barely doing things, and then she just pops up in this movie, and you're
Yeah.
like, oh wow,
And is really good.
and it made $315,000 on like festival circuit kind of stuff, and then obviously made more through streaming and things like that. But
Netflix.
it's one of those movies where it like the Oscars. This is a completely different conversation, kind of.
Sure.
Oscars are coming up, but like it pisses me off that there's no directorial debut. Like this movie was like lauded coming out of TIFF. It's like gotten a lot of critical praise and everything, but there's only so much that a movie can like reach, or like Emma can sort of get off this movie if it's not on that
especially a movie
big
like
platform.
this. Yeah.
Because if it's just like film podcasts and like IndieWire articles, that's not gonna like break through. But I feel like this is one of those movies where if it was like, hey, Shiva Baby at the Oscars, best directorial debut, because this is their first feature film.
Yeah.
Their first feature film.
Honestly, directorial debut should be a category at the Oscars.
It should be, but it's not.
It should be. Also stunt people, but that's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that like just because of the type of movie this is, there's only so much success that it can have, and it sounds like it's had basically that amount of success.
It's overachieved in what it was supposed to do.
But like the fact that I hadn't heard about it until you told me about it, like 90% of this movie's like viewership probably comes from word of mouth.
So like kind of bringing it back to the Whiplash thing.
Sure.
That was Damien Chazelle's second movie. But had a similar sort of like lauding after Sundance. I think it won the Sundance Award and stuff. So maybe that was a little more like highfalutin or whatever.
Sure.
Got more awards, but it was also nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah.
He was like getting a bunch of Oscars buzz. And not to say that this is a Best Picture, but like 2020 was a weak year for the Oscars. Like that was the Nomadland year.
Yeah.
Where you're kind of like...
You and I kind of have different opinions on the Best Picture noms. You thought it was like really weak. I thought it was like okay. Like you didn't really love Sound of Metal or Minari, really, did you?
I thought they were good, but I was like, I like Sound of Metal. I haven't seen Minari actually.
Oh yeah.
But like a lot of them, I was just like, like
Yeah.
we could try something else.
Yeah. I still haven't seen Nomadland, but
Nomadland's just fine. It's like it's so strange because it's like Frances McDormand's cosplaying as a poor person, and the rest of the cast kind of is actual people who live in their vans.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Yeah. I mean,
it's like Sacha Baron Cohen, but it's not funny.
okay.
It's like Borat, but it's not funny.
Interesting.
Well, like that's the technique.
Sure. You're not genuinely saying if you like Borat, you should watch Nomadland.
Because you won't.
Yeah.
You won't like that.
But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if like this, like if Shiva Baby was looked at by, I guess, the Academy or just like awards groups, and it was like, the budget's really low and it's literally in one location. Like there's other movies that are quote unquote doing more.
Yeah.
And it's like, I guess, but that's not really.
But like you get such an, like everyone I've talked to about this movie or has seen this movie has had a physical response to it.
Yeah.
Where it's like, the physical response you have to Nomadland is like, maybe I should have a coffee so I can stay awake.
Yeah.
Because it's so, like, it's gorgeous and all this.
The
but
physical
like,
response I have to this movie is, wow, I really like that. The physical response to Nomadland, I need caffeine in my body.
Has
to be able
anyone
to sit
talked
through
about
this.
Nomadland in the last year?
Nomadland is certainly a Best Picture winner where, like, you look back and you're like, oh, that one?
It's like Shape of Water. Like, not denigrating Shape of Water, but it's one of those Best Picture winners where it's like, no one talks about it.
That's
like,
the first movie I ever saw in the theater by myself. I was just like, I kind of want to go see Shape of Water.
You cranked it to it.
No. Well, I specifically remember, like, being like, I'm saying like a lot, my apologies. I remember saying to my parents, hey, I'm just going to go to the movies. And my mom was like, like, who are you going with? You didn't tell us like you were going out with people. And I was like, oh, I'm not. She's like, what? And she genuinely didn't understand why I would want to go to see a movie in the theater by myself, which made me feel better when I talked to you because you see 90%
I do that all the time. I saw Titanic in 3D by myself. I think on Valentine's Day.
What year was this?
This year. It was like 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago on Valentine's Day, you watched Titanic 3D in the theater by yourself.
Valentine's Day, but like, I saw Titanic in 3D. It fucking rips, man. Titanic is so good.
Oh, it's good. The descriptor rips could have gone either way.
It rips me open.
I've never
man.
seen Titanic.
It's good. It's really good.
Good to know.
I'd seen it once at my grandma's on the double VHS of it because it's 2 VHS tapes. It's so fucking long.
I just realized this is like not necessarily talk on the podcast material, but I'm going to say it anyway.
You can cut it out.
That's true. We've been talking about doing a month that's
best and worst.
Yeah. Where we try to choose
the new number one.
The new number one.
Number whatever.
The new worst, because Hardcore Henry's a rough one. And there's a movie that I have in my birthday month that I was thinking of doing for that, but then
the worst, Phantom Menace.
But then I was like, I kind of want to save it for the birthday month because it's a good one. But now I have a replacer. I'm gonna cut this whole shit out. We don't like it. Doesn't matter.
Back to Seligman.
Sure.
They've got a new movie coming out that they wrote with Rachel Sonnet, called Bottoms, where the basic pitch is high school seniors start a fight club so they can hook up with cheerleaders. And it's got, listen to this, Ayo Adibri. She's from The Bear.
Okay.
I don't know if you watched The Bear, did you?
I did.
She's really good in The Bear. Marshawn Lynch, Kaya Gerber, and Punky Johnson of SNL.
Marshawn Lynch?
Apparently.
All right.
And it's I think it's premiering at South by Southwest. Yeah, March 11th. So next week from when you're listening to this.
Nice.
I'm very excited for that movie. I think it's going to be great. There's a lot of buzz coming out of that.
Nice.
But like the pitch is so good.
Yeah.
Just like the pitch of this is like so simple, but then it's deep.
I've kind of seen like an influx of that in the past few years, where movies are coming out where it's like the pitch is literally one sentence. You could describe the movie in one sentence, but they just do that one concept really well. Whereas like I feel like for a while it felt like
there was like 10 years where it's like every pitch is like, so he like goes to this place and then there's like the villain like cuts him open or something.
But the villain's like from his past.
Yeah, like every movie obviously has a log line, but there was a point where like in the 2010s, you're just kind of like,
felt like every
what
movie was trying to be like
about?
Mind blowing, like crazy.
But like then you watch and you're like, oh, this is like the same shit I've seen 16 times.
Yeah. Whereas like I haven't seen a movie where it's just someone being uncomfortable the whole time.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true, but like in this way.
So a little bit about let's talk about the cast a little bit. Rachel Sonner
Sure.
is incredible. I've said that 6 times. She's also great in Bodies. One of the better parts of that movie. And she's like, her and Molly Gordon, I think, are like, when we were talking about the young stars thing a couple weeks ago, I kind of forgot about them, but like, I'm so excited to see what they do. Like, I love Molly Gordon.
But that kind of like keeps supporting what we said, where it's like there's no young studs.
Yeah, there's no young studs at all.
Because I remember when we were trying to come up with young actor
we're like
names,
Zendaya,
we came up with like
Sydney Sweeney,
10 or 15 like women.
Yeah.
But we could like there's like 2 or 3 guys.
But like Molly Gordon, book smart, like she was in Good Boys, which I saw in theaters by myself. I just shrugged to Adam. But she's so good in like pretty much everything that she's in.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I Molly Gordon is Maya, right?
Yes.
In the movie? Yeah. She kind of if she wasn't in the movie, honestly the movie would probably be kind of hard to sit through.
And she wasn't in the short film, and that's one of the big improvements, I think.
Yeah.
From short film to movie is that they added that sort of character.
Yeah. Cuz it's kind of like unbearable social interaction after unbearable social interaction with like plucky string instrumental in the background to like raise your anxiety level as much as possible.
Yeah.
But then she comes in and like there's a moment or two where she adds to the problems, but like for the most part, whenever she's in frame, it's like, okay, I feel a bit better that there's some sort of safety. Like there's some normal person here that like I can confide in. Feeling a bit bloated there, pal?
I think I just shit.
Dude, I won't lie. There was a while ago when you were talking on the pod where you had like 3 sentences you said, and I farted throughout the 3 sentences.
So the parents in this movie are played by Polly Draper and Frank Melman, and they're incredible. I love Frank Melman.
The dad?
Yeah, he's so good in this movie.
I hated him, but like also really loved him.
Like, he's not doing anything like necessarily horrible,
No.
but he's also not doing anything right, but he's funny.
His like final thing he does in the movie kind of sums
With
up
the
what,
van?
Yeah. Kind of sums up what most of the problems in the movie are caused by someone insisting something when someone's already said no.
So at the end of the movie, he's insisting that Max and his wife and their baby get a ride with them
after Maya and her mom have already reluctantly accepted also getting in their van.
Yes. And after, like, there's this, at the end of the movie, basically the climax is they're doing the prayer.
Yeah.
And there's like a bit of a conflict. There's a scuttlebutt.
Yeah.
The holy books, I feel like I'm saying something wrong, but like,
yeah,
they are the holy
full
books,
disclosure. Yeah, we don't fully know all the, but like
I'm not
the books
Jewish.
fall on the floor. There's like broken glass,
and then Danny like freaks out. She starts trying to clean it up. She's like crying. She's like, I can't do this anymore, because like everything kind of has come down upon her. And even at this point, Maya's being mean because she found out that Danny's doing the sugar baby thing. and I don't even know if she knows like specifically with anyone, but like
I think she just knows that
they
she's
broke
doing
up 4 months ago. I think she feels a little like, was she doing this while we were together? Is that why we broke up?
Or at least like, did she really that quickly after we broke up jump into doing this? Yeah. And it should, I do like how Maya is like kind of negative, but then once Danielle explains like, this is why I did it, this is how it made me feel, and this is how I feel about it now, then Maya's like, okay, I didn't really look at it that way. Yeah. And she kind of changes. But it's worth stating that like the glass breaking and the books falling on the ground and like Danielle crying was caused by Diana Agron's character finally like kind of boiling over after kind of putting the pieces together.
Make her hold the baby.
Yeah.
Of the guy who she's been having sex with.
Yeah.
Who she didn't know was married and had a child.
Yeah. So it's like it all builds up to this point. So that's why it's so awkward when it's like the dad is like, "No, we can fit you guys in. We
Even
can."
the mom, like,
and they're like, "No, we're good."
And throughout the movie too, the mom's like kind of in line with him on some of these like being considerate things. Yeah. And then even at the end she's like, "Oh, no, it's okay. You don't need to."
They could get a car. They can get a car.
One guy I really liked was the guy who kept stinking up the bathrooms. Did you catch that?
What?
There's one guy.
Oh yeah, I only noticed him once.
But then they reference it a couple times throughout the movie where it's like, Albert stunk up the bathroom or something. Or like he's still in there.
Yeah.
I love that guy.
The only one I remember is her leaving the bathroom and him being like, "Is there a window or a fan in here?" She's like, Yeah, there is, I think.
And then he's like, okay, and like pushes
like,
past
thank
her.
goodness I'm going to be in here. It's just kind of like an added thing.
That guy's great, and that's the guy I think you are in the movie, honestly.
Thanks, man.
So let's talk favorite scenes. I've got
Sure. It's kind of hard to pick a favorite scene because it feels like the whole movie is just one really long scene.
Yeah, because it's all in the same place and like all that. I think my contenders are, because they work so well together, are when Maya and Danny are talking.
Yeah.
So either in the playroom when it's like their first time kind of talking to each other and she's like, whatever, and you're like, why are you being so weird? And they're like cleaning up the puke. I like that scene a lot.
Yeah.
There's also the one near the end where they're outside and they like kind of argue and
I honestly think that them talking while bringing the stuff to the old lady's car is probably
also
my
a great
favorite
one.
scene.
Yeah.
Because I think their dialogue is really good together. I think it's like very like character focused. It's them trying to understand each other, and there's like a lot of empathy there, and kind of bleeding into then the van scene when there's just chaos ensuing. It's an absolute nightmare scenario, but then like Danielle and Maya both kind of smile a little bit because they're like, this is absolutely ridiculous what's happening, and they hold hands, and it's like, okay, after an absolute shitstorm of stress and anxiety throughout this whole movie, there's a little moment of, at least we're here together. Yeah. Which I really like. But in the walking scene, I think my favorite line in the whole movie is there, which is when they finish helping the old lady to bring the stuff to her car. And then I think it's Maya's mom is like, what are you doing out here? Like, what are you guys doing? And Maya's like, oh, we were helping Miss whatever, like, bring her stuff to her car. And her mom's like, why? And Maya's like, I don't know, because you're fucking supposed to help old people? I don't know. And then it just moves on to the next thing. And I'm like, that just felt really real.
I also like how they're like, is she allowed to drive?
Yeah, and they're like, no.
And he's like, no, our license hasn't been expired. Yeah, and then when they cut away, it's like, I found that a little cheesy. There's some sound effects in it where I found they were like a little like cheesy add-ins. This is one of them. I think it pays off for the joke where she like kind of swerves out and gets honked at. But it's like, you're on a residential street. That's probably not going to happen.
It's probably not going to happen.
Their kiss to me felt very Wes Anderson-y, where it's like on Maya and then Danny like rushes into frame. There's a couple things where it's like, you can kind of feel her influences, the influences let's get into some let's get into some favorite quotes of mine. This might be a little new segment that I do where I put favorite quotes. So one of my favorite quotes from the movie is when she's like, I guess drunk, because there's an implication that she's been
Maya
drinking.
or
Danielle.
Okay.
There's an implication that she's been drinking. Maybe she's just like zoinked out because of the whole situation. But she's talking to Max, and like it's kind of near the end where they're in that group and they're talking.
Oh,
and
yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
She seems kind of woozy. And she's like, I wish I could have my own bachelor pad where I could just do whatever the fuck I wanted.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, whoa.
Everyone's like, whoa, what in the world?
I like that. What kind of like catchphrase rating would you give that for me? If I just like use that like all the time.
What if we were just like out and you went, I wish I just had a bachelor pad where I could do whatever the fuck I wanted.
Yeah. It's a little wordy. What if I did an acronym? IWICHMOBPWICDWTFIW.
So for the quote itself, I'm going to give you actually like I'll give you a 6, honestly, which is tied for your best.
Oh, God, yeah.
For the acronym, I'm going to give you a 6.5.
Oh, my God.
If you bust out that acronym in public, I will be impressed.
Well, I won't be able to because I'm like dyslexic. So
okay, seems more like a memory loss thing.
I also loved. We mentioned this before. Is there a fan or window in there? Love that.
Yeah,
that's a
fan
good
or a
one.
window in there. Yeah, that's a good one.
Those are the only 2 quotes I wrote down.
There was one woman who like. I forget exactly.
Is it the
what she
blonde
said.
woman who talks to the mom? Because I liked her a lot. Ellie. Her name's Ellie in the movie.
I don't know.
But you know the friend of the mom who's like blonde?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I liked her a lot. And she talks about the rabbi.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, were they like talking about like her maybe having sex with one of the people at the party? She's like, who did you hear that from? Don't tell me now, but who did you hear that from? Like, I want to know later, but don't tell me now.
Yeah.
But, like, who'd you hear that from? I love that part.
Mm.
Where like even the side characters are very specific and like feel personal because like I assume they're like
Based on people.
Yeah, they're sort of like graft like personality traits over into the characters, which always makes it more interesting because like there's so many movies where you just like kind of that's like not a person that's happening. Like white rosters are not like a person.
In 10 Things?
Yeah.
That's another thing that I related to big time in this movie is like just all of these adults at a gathering that's meant for something else, but they just spend the whole time gossiping and spreading rumors.
Yeah.
Like I've been to like Dutch Christian family gatherings where the whole time is spent like talking about like just other people in their lives.
Yeah.
And it's like
I feel like it's also a very Dutch thing, not to like put you on blast. Where it's like
I think
at
so.
a gathering, Dutch people will just like gossip or like small talk about stuff and be like, yeah.
Did you see Diane?
You see Cousin
and
Larry?
Sawyer?
Diane and Sawyer what?
Isn't Diane Sawyer someone? Maybe that's why I
that's
said
a person.
Sawyer. Okay, because I was like, why did I pull the name Sawyer out?
Where
of
they're
my
just
head?
like, yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Sawyer Hartman, famous YouTuber.
Well, no, it's because Diane Sawyer. Because I said Diane, and then I was like, who else? And I said Sawyer. Yeah.
But it's like a very Dutch thing I found, where it's like,
Yeah.
you'll just kind of be like, oh, like Cousin Jimmy got like a new boat, and you're like, okay.
Well, I even remember leaving a family gathering one time, and we were driving home, and my parents were like, so you guys have a good time? And my brother was like, yeah, I really enjoyed talking about other random people
That's all that happens.
that I don't know.
Yeah.
They were like, we didn't do that. Like, that's not what happened the whole time. And my brother was like, I didn't say a word for 4 hours because everyone was just talking about people's kids and new boyfriends. And
Yeah, and you're talking about like your cousin's nephew's new girlfriend. Like, what are you saying right now?
And then also the thing of like, oh, you know, I think that guy over there, he worked with your uncle's, I was going to say uncle's brother. That's your dad or your uncle. But with your uncle's girlfriend he worked with. So if maybe we could talk to him and he could get you a job.
Yeah, and you're like
that
what
kind
are
of
you
things happened to me
talking
before too. And
about?
it's like, no, actually. I don't really think that that's something I'm interested in. Anyway.
And I like when she's forced to approach Max about the job opportunity, and like it kind of comes out that she's not going to law school, and he's like, "Oh, what do you do?" And she's like, "I'm babysitting," and he's like, Max is also very well acted by him.
He's well acted. I hate him.
He's a horrible person.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. Like, I feel like everyone in the movie is like kind of perfectly cast, and the characters are also just specific. They're just so specific. Where pretty much every movie you watch now, everyone is as unspecific as possible.
Yeah. Like, I don't know why this is what's popping into mind, but like, maybe it's because we mentioned Nomadland, but Marvel's The Eternals.
Yeah.
Like, I think of that and I'm like, yeah, each of the characters had. Calder just took out a massive whiff of his armpits.
It's not for the podcast.
Oh, sorry.
Man.
I pretend I didn't say that. I'll cut that out. I promise you, I'll cut that out.
You've never kept a promise.
I almost said pinky promise, but I do keep pinky promises. So, but like in the Eternals, they have a bunch of characters that have specific characteristics. Like, I don't remember any of the names.
I couldn't tell you a goddamn thing about Icarus.
No. Well, the thing is, Icarus's character is
Superman. I think that's him.
Well, just like leader.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not a character. I'm sorry. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Like, aside from their character traits, there's nothing specific about their character.
Yeah.
So
I feel like movies for a long time have character traits, but I'm looking for movies with some character depth.
But even like I saw that new Ant-Man movie.
Quantumania?
Yeah. And it's not as bad as people are saying, but like it's not good either. Right? Like, if you compare it to a lot of the previous ones, and now we're talking about Marvel, but if you compare it to a lot of the previous ones from like Phase 4, it's not that much worse. Like, truly, it looks a little dumb because it's all goopy. It's all that goopy CGI world, like 95%
It's all Spy
of
Kids
it.
3D.
Yeah. And you're like, okay, it looks dumb. But is it that much worse? No. It's not that much worse than Black Widow.
Sure.
Like,
well, I saw something on the Marvel Studios subreddit where someone posted, it was like the reviews for, I think it was Ant-Man and the Wasp, Thor: The Dark World, and Iron Man 2.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the reviews for those, and then the reviews for
Quantumania.
What's the other movie I literally just said?
Eternals?
No.
What? Who's in it?
Thor.
Oh, Love and Thunder?
Love and Thunder. And then I forget what the Iron Man 2 comparison was. Maybe like
Black Panther 2?
Maybe. But like, all of the reviews for the newer ones were worse, even though like
Oh,
Thor:
it's
The
probably
Dark World.
Multiverse of Madness.
Oh, yeah. But like Thor: The Dark World, people did not like, but still apparently liked more than Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
Like, people did not like Iron Man 2.
But
Still more
than
than
Multiverse of
a lot
Madness.
And it's like the title of the post was, "Are critics being more like critical of or more harsh on these movies now?" It's like, no, I think they are just getting more.
Well,
I don't know if
we should
getting
we
worse.
should stop talking about this. I'm going to say one more thing and then we'll stop talking about this. But it's like at that point they're clearly building something new, fresh. You know, hey, maybe it's not the greatest thing, but like it's a part of this chain. Like,
yeah, and it's exciting. It's an exciting new thing.
Now we're like 31 movies in, and you're like, it's killed pretty much every mid-budget movie.
Yeah,
we don't really get much else aside from this shit. The way they make the movies is kind of shit. Like,
I've enjoyed Marvel's company, but I kind of look forward to its death, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because I think when Marvel dies, I think we'll see like an increase in more thought out movies.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
Well, like, even I noticed this because Fast Five's another one for this month.
Yeah.
But like like those are sort of equivalent budget levels.
Sure.
So that's why I'm equating them. But like that movie's shot like a movie.
Yeah.
Where like there's dynamic lighting.
Mm-hmm.
Where that's not a thing in Marvel movies or pretty
No.
much any blockbuster where there's like shadows cast on their face because the green screen needs to kind of look right with where the lighting is. But like at that point, they're just all kind of blown out anyway. Shiva Baby.
That was just a little tangent. I wonder what our first Marvel movie on this podcast will be.
I haven't put one
Or
down.
if I haven't put one down either. I kind of just don't want to.
Maybe
I was
if
thinking
we-
of doing like the original Iron Man at some point, but
If we like blow up, start getting viewers, make that something exclusive on Patreon.
sure.
My last thing, sort of plot wise, and then we'll get into questions, was that the mom is like, and we've talked about this a couple times, where it's like sort of like Ming Lee from Turning Red,
Yeah.
where she's like trying to do something. Like she thinks she's kind of like doing the right thing, and she's like, I could help her get a job, like,
Yeah.
But maybe Rachel Sonnet's not ready for that.
She like cares about her daughter a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and like everything she's saying and doing from her perspective is for her daughter. But like it's kind of unwanted.
Yeah.
So like if it's unwanted, then it's not a positive thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was actually going to say that as well, that like she's clearly, and the dad too, honestly.
Yeah.
Like they both have the best intentions. It's just they're almost overdoing it. It's like the insisting on everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, if I believe it or not, when I say no, I usually mean that I don't want it.
Yeah.
And
there's like there's some things that we haven't mentioned because I don't really know how to touch on them from my point of view. Like there's, in listening to a lot of things about this movie and like reading some things about this movie, there's like a lot of subtext in terms of like eating disorders. Like people come away seeing that as like a big theme that they connect with, like sexual power for women, like just empowerment in general.
Well, and just like I've experienced it to a minimal amount firsthand, but like I've like observed it happen firsthand plenty of times, of just like people like caring way too much about someone else's body, or like thinking that their input is really important about someone else's body.
Yeah. It's like when I was like trying to take a shit on you that one time and you're like, please don't. And I was like, it's my body.
Yeah, and then I was like, yeah, but this is my body you're shitting on, and you were like,
and I said,
yeah, but
not
I
if
thought we were one.
Yeah, and then I said, not if I close my eyes, then I can pretend we're connected.
Yeah, and then ultimately you did end up shitting on my chest. And then like, since you had already had me handcuffed, I couldn't really resist you rubbing it in.
Yeah. And you tried to flail with those little legs, and you could not get anything going.
I flailed.
You tried to, but
but hey, those are just kind of the games we play.
Yeah.
And you know, if you play hard, you get hard.
This movie's shot by Marla Rush, who I think did a very good job. This movie's shot very well. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, it looks really good. I kind of mentioned it before, but like also the soundtrack is great.
And like, one thing that I love in this movie is how much energy the camera has. Because it's like,
oh, it feels like it's like pulsating at moments.
Yeah, it's like basically handheld. There's a lot of like tight focal lengths. There's a lot of like close-ups. There's a lot of like, I don't know if there's a wide shot.
There's one wide shot, and this I was debating mentioning it for like one of my favorite moments, and it's when
they're outside, there's a wide shot.
Yeah, there's a wide shot there, which I also liked. But there's a moment inside where she's at like the food table, and she's in a conversation, but then everybody she was in a conversation with leaves, and then there's a wide shot of her just standing in the room, and there's a bunch of people having conversations, but she doesn't really know what to do or where to go, which I related to, being like,
that's a great moment.
Who do I talk to? So she just like keeps putting food on her plate, and then she's like, I still don't know how to talk to. So she puts more food on her plate, and then eventually she puts it all back. She's just like, I've definitely done that where I'm like, oh, I don't have anyone to talk to. I'm just going to like take a long time to put some cheese and crackers on my plate.
Questions.
Yeah.
We kind of answered this already, but which character do you think you are?
I think
you do the same for
I'm the
me.
bathroom guy.
Yeah.
I'm the
Who am
bathroom
I?
guy.
I have an answer for who I am, but I'll give you that after.
Yeah, give me a moment. I think you know what? I'm just gonna go with my gut. I think you're the dad.
That's what I put for me too.
Really? Yeah. I don't think you're like you do the insisting thing as much as he does, but like just kind of the. I think how he behaves a lot of the time, you behave as a joke.
But it's good.
Yeah.
Like I love the van ending because like he makes this sort of weird thing, but it's like a bit of cosmic irony that they're like. I'm sort of going off on a tangent. That Maya and Danielle are like stuck in this van together, and they're like got to deal with all this shit, even though they're like.
Yeah, it is kind of like some weird twist of fate that somehow they all ended up in the same tight van.
But then they like see each other for like that's the point where like they sort of come to terms with who each other is after
Maya and Danielle do.
Yeah.
A part of me is like there's a part of me that wishes that the moment they share together where it's like this shit's crazy, but at least we've got each other. A part of me wishes that moment was shared with like the whole van, where like Diana Agron's character and
like says
Max,
something.
or they just like all kind of like laugh, or like Danielle like smiles and laughs, and then Maya joins in. Actually, it would make more sense if Maya laughed first. And I don't know, it would just be kind of sweet if they all were like, this is ridiculous what's happening with like everything that's happened today, but it's also nice that they're sharing a moment together.
I like that
in
it's
the
them
hellscape.
together.
Yeah.
And then underrated, or like one of the things that the dad does that I like so much is when he's just getting in the van at the end, where it's like he's sort of crawling in head first, and like he's got a bad hip,
to get his
he's
legs
like,
in. Yeah,
and the mom's just like, I gotta watch this fucking guy get in the van,
and then he goes, I forgot my phone. Again,
and then he's like, oh no, found it, and then they leave.
I think. Oh, I do want to quickly say, just since we're talking about like good things about the movie, like, like the soundtrack's great, it's shot well, the acting's great. Also, I love it in any movie, and I really noticed it in this movie, when the dialogue feels very natural. Like everything that everyone's saying feels like something someone would say. Yeah. But also they're talking on top of each other.
I love it when they talk. Yeah. So there's like Noah Baumbach, that's sort of like mumblecore god, on like the Duplass brothers, where like that was sort of the thing where they were like this movie is very tightly scripted. Yeah, because it had to be, because they shot it in like 20 days. But what that I think Emma Seligman's like found a very good way to balance it, because the mumblecore stuff is a little more like you're just kind of listening to people fucking talk, and then they get to the point.
I've seen it done poorly.
Yeah,
where it's like there's 7 people talking right now. I don't know what's happening.
But I think this is like, this movie has really kind of figured out digital filmmaking in a way, where the cameras are lighter, so you can kind of like be a little more frantic with it, but you also have that very intimate personal thing of like, it's natural, it is everyday life, whereas like mumblecore is a lot more like it's just kind of, we're showing everyday life. And then like early digital filmmaking is kind of like, we're kind of blowing this shit out for spectacle, like the Star Wars stuff, or like some Michael Mann stuff, where you're like, he's using this technology to like push it. But like I think this movie is like, this is the example of like what you can do with a digital camera, like digital filmmaking, where like a lot of directors are like, just go shoot it on your iPhone, do like, you can make a movie on your iPhone. You're like, you can, but like it's not that easy also. Like you have to like, it's just because it's digital doesn't mean you don't have to like fucking plan. Here's the thing. Shit.
There are people that could shoot like a great film on an iPhone. Not anyone can just go shoot a film on an iPhone. Well, like that's kind of the problem with that statement.
Because
it's not
discounts all the shit before it.
Yeah.
Like
it's like claiming that the iPhone is the invention that has come out that is like now anyone can make a movie. And it's like, wait, so none of the camera equipment or like sound stuff or lighting stuff or any of the directors or filmmakers before like you can be as good as them just because you have an iPhone? No.
Yeah.
Like, I know that's not exactly what they're saying, but it's kind of almost what's
But
implied.
like this movie takes an incredible script
Yeah.
and then uses the digital filmmaking and like the
To
ways
enhance it.
to enhance it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you could shoot this on an iPhone, but like I don't know. I kind of feel like I'm lost in the sauce right now with what I'm trying to say.
If this was shot on an iPhone and everything else was the same, I'd probably be like, yeah, it's an interesting movie. I liked it. But like because it was shot the way it was and like all the different aspects of it, it's quite good.
How much do you dislike big family gatherings on a scale from 1 to 10?
Here's the thing. I think like I get nervous before big family gatherings. And I think there are certainly moments where I want to like crawl away and hide during big family gatherings. But like it really depends who's there. Honestly, as long as I have like one or two or more, obviously, but like as long as I have one or two people there that I feel like I can confide in and like hide with,
Cousins, etc.
sure. But like just like
Uncles.
having a safe person or some safe people honestly just like makes it so much better. I think that's why this was so stressful, because like eventually Maya becomes that safe person at the end. But like for the most part,
She's kind of got no one to like.
yeah, Danielle has nobody here
Yeah.
to confide in.
Who's your favorite person at the patron? Sorry.
Wait. I'm going to ask you though, how much do you hate family gatherings?
Thing with my family is like it's small and splintered. I don't have any cousins.
Okay.
Aunts and uncle. I only have 3 uncles. I only see one semi-regularly. And then I've just got my grandparents. So like Christmas is like whatever parent side I'm at and my siblings.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like even Christmas dinner is like then my grandparents maybe.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't really have big family gatherings. I haven't
So
had
your family gatherings are literally just like you hanging out
It's
with
like
a bunch of adults.
Yeah, it's just like me and my
I guess
fucking
we're
parents.
adults, but yeah.
Like that's
yeah,
my family gathering.
So I didn't have many family gatherings growing up. Like I had some family gatherings on my dad's
Because you're
side.
adopted?
Nope. But then pandemic hit, and we just like legitimately since like before the pandemic have not had any family gatherings like with that whole side of the family, just because everyone's doing their own shit now.
Yeah.
But like now I've started to go to family gatherings on Olivia's side, which is like it's both more stressful because I don't know everybody as well, but like it's also a little bit better because I feel like I don't have to like make up stuff to talk about because people don't really know.
Yeah, so you can just kind of be like,
I can actually
Hey,
just
I'm
be like,
Adam.
yeah. But like still I hide. I still
oh,
hide.
of course. Yeah. You talk to Warren.
Yeah. Honestly, like I won't name drop or anything.
Oh,
but like
please don't, man.
like Warren's girlfriend also feels similar to me
Yeah.
at these family gatherings. So like we often will just like have like panic mode, whatever, and then just like all of a sudden find each other and be like, "Hey, do you know who to talk to?" No.
Nice.
Okay. Well, I'm kind of done. Yeah, me too. Or
So
not
I'm-
done, but like, you know,
Like a 5.
like
For
5
me.
out of 10 on family gatherings.
Yeah.
I'm probably like a 7. Like it depends on the family gathering as well. If it's something like, I don't know, like Easter Sunday hangout, I'm like, we're just kind of sitting around and eating some like finger foods. But if
Yeah.
it's like a Christmas thing or like a birthday thing or like something with a bit of excitement,
I'm just kind of like just like don't wanna most of the time.
yeah.
Anyway.
I will say going to a family gathering when you're just not feeling it is one of the worst things.
Oh yeah. Who's your favorite patron at the Shiva? I've got 2 of my 2. I can give them to you first. So, Mrs. Bronstein, of course, the old lady that they helped to her car.
Yeah.
Love her.
There is the one woman who, like, when Danielle's, like, crying on the floor surrounded by glass and books, she just, like, leans to someone else and is like, making it about herself or something like that.
Oh, yeah, there's, like, 3 women. Maya's mom, and then, like, someone else, and someone else who, like, feel like a little clique.
Yeah,
like,
oh,
those
like,
women, like, chit-chat. Those women chit-chat together.
Yeah, that one felt very real as well.
And then also Ellie, the blonde woman who talks to Maya's mom and is like, who'd you hear that I was having sex with that guy?
Yeah.
I like that. And she's also, like, aside from that scene, she's also very good in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that your answer? The woman that was like...
No, honestly, I'd probably just say Maya. I know that's a boring answer, but I just feel like she's like the most normal person there. So,
what's your sugar baby price? How much are you charging?
Did they say how much she was charging? So that I literally have no.
I think it's like $100 though.
Right. Like per.
I think so. Oh, also the moment at the start where she's like waiting for him to give her the money. That's like, I feel like that's the thing in the short film where you're like, okay, there's something like,
there's something here.
Emma Seligman's got something here.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because it felt like he thought they were having some like moment, like some connection, but she was
and he,
truly
like, kisses
just
her
like
on the head or something.
Yeah, and she's like, anyway, like, are you paying me? And then he's like, oh yeah, like,
love to support young entrepreneurs.
Oh man, that made me want to end my life. That what a he kind of, his character is like very nice guy, where he's like trying to pass off him cheating on his wife and child with
he's cheating on the child
with a younger woman who like honestly like cause how old is she, like 25?
Yeah, about there.
But she like honestly looks like she's like 19.
Well, no, she's still in university, so in
Sure.
the movie she's like 21.
Sure, but like it's just he's trying to pass off this like weird dynamic and this like weird fetish shit. Then he's cheating and all that. Like he's trying to pass that off as him like being a feminist guy who's just like trying to like support. It's like, no, you're not, idiot.
Oh, I think one very good scene to like show the difference between Emma and Danielle is when they're in the playroom.
You mean Maya and Danielle?
Maya and Danielle.
Sure.
Is when they're in the playroom and Maya's like, yeah, that's like who I want to be, like super stressed out, but like no one can tell, and like she's got 3 businesses, and Daniel's like, she doesn't have 3 businesses. Why would she have 3 businesses? Just like do the one
really well.
Yeah.
I bet all 3 are failing.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Maya's like, okay, why are you so weird? Like, why are you being so weird right now? She's like, I'm not being weird. It's just like, it's stupid. I have 3 businesses.
And her being like, she's not that pretty. And it's like, she literally looks like a Barbie.
Yeah. She's like probably the most attractive person I've ever seen in my entire
Barbie.
Life. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like basic.
I honestly feel kind of like bad for Diana Agron because the same thing happened in Glee, where there's just a lot of scenes where it's like, they just talk about how she's like absolutely perfect looking.
And then someone's like, no.
Well, yeah. So there's usually someone who's jealous, but like even if it was just talking about how she is absolutely perfect looking, like there's no way that she like everybody's got a little bit of like body image problems. Yeah. So that's probably really weird to hear. Just like everybody talk about how you're the perfect looking person, like that would drive me nuts at least.
Well, there's no way you're ever going to know that.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like an unachievable goal. You could achieve that goal.
Yeah, it happens to me daily. At Starbucks, they go, Mr. Perfect.
You said,
now, I made that my name on the Starbucks app, but still, they do say it.
Yeah. That's good.
How often do you perform sex acts at family functions? Because remember when she tries to give him a blowjob in the bathroom, which is like... Yeah. It like feels like the scene where Kimmy's getting pulled into the van. Where you're like, oh my god, like this is horrible.
Like, stop.
Yeah,
that's
like,
the moment that Olivia was like, you can tell this is written by a woman.
Yeah,
I was like, that was horrible, and she's like, I'm pretty sure that's just the female experience. I was like, all right, but yeah. Wait, so like,
do you have sex at family functions, and
like how many times have I?
Like, say it in code so your mom doesn't know.
Well, How do I put this? I haven't.
Wow, that was succinct.
Thank you. Sorry, can I just add something real quick? I wrote down this movie is just Get Out, the movie Get Out, but instead of a black person surrounded by white people, it's a young adult surrounded by a bunch of Jewish moms.
Okay.
Where it's like it kind of felt similar to like the Get Out party scene where he's just going around and talking to people and they're like, I would have voted for Obama a third time.
Yeah.
And he's just like, why are you telling me this?
Yeah.
And she's going up to people and they're going like,
Oh,
so
you
like,
look so skinny.
Oh, you look so skinny. You should eat more. And
Or
she's
like-
like, why are you talking to me about
Like
this?
when the one woman like sneaks up behind her and grabs her waist.
Look at those ribs or something.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa, back off. Like, don't.
Like-
It legitimately had a physical reaction in me when that like stuff like that would happen, because I'd be like, don't stop touching her.
And like since I've made that like my move that I do to people at
Yeah.
family gatherings where I sneak up behind them and I grab their little love handles.
Yeah,
Like I get a similar reaction, but like,
but you like it.
well, and they do too.
Oh, okay.
They laugh and then they go like, I'm gonna hit you or like, leave me alone. And I'm like, Dad, but no, it's okay.
Kind of on the same note of like my reaction to that scene when like they're all talking over each other and eventually Danielle is like, shut up, stop.
Oh,
stop.
So this rolls into my next question. What's the scariest scene for you?
I honestly, scariest scene I think is when she like,
I think that
stabs her leg with the screw.
Oh, I guess.
Or it's not scary, it's just like, ah. But
Yeah.
like, I think that scene where
like the camera's kind of woozy. It's like kind of like
well,
got a
everyone's just
weird
like
color
talking over each other
grade.
and touching her and like
it feels
asking
like
her questions, and I'm like, she's clearly uncomfortable. Can you please just leave her alone?
it feels like a bit of a cult thing.
It feels like torture.
One thing that I kind of wish, like the one critique I have, which is like not very serious at all, is just like I think that she's supposed to be getting increasingly intoxicated throughout the movie, but I don't know if that's communicated very well. Because there's a point where like her mom says, "You're just over here like eating and chugging wine."
Yeah.
And I think that's like a bit of what's happening in that stop scene where it's like she's gotten kind of too tipsy because she's nervous and drinking.
But here's the thing, even if I was like stone cold sober, I'm the most aware and awake I've ever been. If I have 5 people around me all talking to me at the same time and touching me, I'm gonna freak out. And
Yeah.
she said stop and like leave me alone and stop touching me like 5 times before she freaked out.
Yeah.
So it just like that had a very visceral reaction in me, because I'm like, especially when she then goes like yells and then everyone's like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
It's like, can you just leave her alone, please? Like, let her live. I don't know. That just kind of thing bugs me. This is like kind of a new development in the past few years for me, where like I get very, very pissed off when people don't like respect boundaries.
That's
or
pretty.
like,
That's a good thing to like.
oh, it's a great development.
Well, like,
Not that I didn't respect boundaries before, but like now it makes me angry.
but don't do that to me.
Don't respect your boundaries?
No, don't enforce that with me.
Oh, don't.
Because I want to. I'm gonna ruin your life.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, I'll let you do whatever.
Okay. I think we should wrap this sucker up.
Yeah.
Who do you think plays Adam Driver?
Who do you think Adam Driver plays?
Sorry, I'm dyslexic. I've been begging a psychologist to diagnose me for weeks, and they just won't.
Honestly, I'm just gonna say it. The bathroom guy.
Oh, really?
I think Adam Driver playing the bathroom guy would be really funny.
I think him being of the main cast, I didn't really think about like the side characters, but I was like, oh, he'd be Max. If he's in this movie, he's Max.
That's my other choice.
I think the bathroom guy's an interesting choice.
I just think his delivery on like, is there a window or a fan in here?
That'd be like wild if just for one scene Adam Driver's like, And it'd be again him, because I don't think he's Jewish, him playing a race or nationality that he's not.
Well,
Gucci, Silence. He's supposed to be Portuguese.
what?
Silence is about he's Portuguese.
Oh, okay.
Which Adam Driver month is like next month.
Is Adam Driver month
Yeah.
next month? We haven't really talked about it on the pod.
Yeah, so maybe cut that out. We'll talk about it in the last episode or something. But
It's fine.
we've
Talked about
So like I'd say Max. You say Bathroom Guy.
Yep.
Rank. What do you think about for rank?
Okay, let me bring up the list.
So I'm gonna start this off light.
Okay.
I don't know what that means. I'm thinking upper half.
I'm thinking upper half. As
okay.
well.
So is it better than Kimmy? I think this is like a much more successful, more complete version of
I think
Kimmy.
we're just entering. This is episode 13.
Yeah.
We're just entering the realm of rankings gonna get complicated.
Yes.
Because I'm looking at this list and I'm going, I think I like About Time more than I like Shiva Baby. But I think Shiva Baby is better than Kimmy.
Mm-hmm.
And Kimmy is currently above About Time.
Yes.
So what the fuck do I do, Calder?
Well,
I guess in between them would make sense, but
there's like, and then there's, because we're doing it objectively, right? Like we're trying to make an objective list.
Oh, okay. Well, as much as possible. Like our opinions are going to play a part.
Yeah. But I think like it's a much tighter movie. It wraps everything up. The character arcs are good.
You know what? I
really
really like that it's only like an hour 17.
And yeah, also that, where it's like short, tight, gets to the point. There's no fat. About Time, there's the thing, and Olivia's gonna get angry about the time travel where we're like, Kimmy, there's like a couple things where you're like,
You know what? I'm going to make a bold play here, and this is going to be unexpected.
Above Harry Potter.
No.
Above West Side.
Above West Side.
I was thinking about that, and I think that makes sense.
So at number 3 above West Side
At number
Story?
3 above West Side Story, we're putting Shiva Baby.
I just think it's like a very like short, succinct romp. It's not. It is not a romp. But I don't know. I just think
just
it's
an
like
incredibly well-made movie.
It's also just like I love a character. I mean, some people would argue that all movies are character driven, but like I love a character driven movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know, like I think the reason a movie like Superbad is so good in comparison to a movie like The Sitter, which is another Jonah Hill movie, is that like Superbad is very focused on the characters of Sean. I was about to say Sean, of Evan and Seth, of Evan and Seth, and like McLovin and Emma Stone's kid. Like it's very like character focused.
The thing with like a lot of those Apatow comedies and why they kind of hold up, some more than others, is because the thing is like you write a drama and then you figure out how to put the comedy in it.
You put some jokes.
So like Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg had been writing that movie for like 20 years.
Yeah.
But they wrote the characters, which are basically them and about their relationships.
Yeah.
And then they figured out how to put the comedy in it.
Yeah. But like this is just like looking at this, even compared to Kimmy, because I think Kimmy is probably the most directly comparable movie on this list.
Yeah.
Kimmy, what was her name? Angela Childs.
Yeah.
The main character of Kimmy. Like, she's a good character, but for the most part, like, she's the only one you really learn much
the side
about.
characters, you're kind of like nothing.
Whereas in this movie, it's like every character is like very distinct, prominent. I just love a character movie. So I think putting Shiva Baby at 3, below Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, above West Side Story, it makes me feel good.
We should try and see Bottoms together. Because I'm really glad that you like this movie.
Yeah,
I'm glad that it's so high on the list. So
it didn't make me feel good.
Yeah.
But it made me happy.
Amen, brother.
What that means. Amen, brother.
Well, this was another episode of the Screen Share Podcast.
Screen Share, a movie podcast, even.
Okay.
Ew.
Okay. Shiva Baby's ranked number 3. Next week, we've got Scream.
Scream.
1996. Not the Scream 5 that is also titled Scream.
The original Scream.
Yes.
One
One of my favorite
I've never
horror
seen.
movies. So there you go.
Yeah, I'm not a horror movie fan, but I watched it.
And you liked it.
And we'll see it next week.
And you didn't answer.
All right. Well, yeah, I'll save it for next week.
Dum, 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 dum. This is me doing the outro music.
Okay.
Dum, dum, dum. Have a good night. Dum, 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 dum.
How is that going to sound with the music actually under?
Since I was on beat, fucking perfect.